The Zeapon Micro 2 Plus is a motorized slider designed to get the perfect product shot, food shot, or landscape pan every time, and the Micro 2 Plus offers many updates over the original version. The Micro 2 Plus is quick to set up, the controls are simple and intuitive, and it's easy to use. The legs pull out to support heavy loads to prevent the slider from tipping or creating jarring movements. To get started, simply pop in a Sony NPF battery. Now go ahead and power it on and you're pretty much ready to go. However, I recommend downloading the smartphone app. It gives you more granular control over the Micro 2 Plus, and it also allows you to set waypoints. The Zeapon Micro 2 Plus motorized slider can be purchased for $289, but the unit I'm holding in my hand also has the motor, and that costs an additional $219. You can purchase them as a package for $445, and that will save you over $64 if you were to buy them separately, and I highly recommend getting the motorized version. Well, it can work very well as a manual unit. By using a smartphone app, hooking it up, you can have granular movements over the slider, and you can even set up waypoints so you can get exact movements, same shoot after shoot. So I do highly recommend getting the motor. Again, the total price as reviewed in this video is $445, and that's for the slider, the Micro 2 Plus slider, as well as the motor and cables. So if you decide you want to detach the motor, you can simply do that and use the cable supplied, and you're off to the races. The Zeapon Micro 2 Plus feels solid in the hands, and the motor that I was just talking about can take a load of 10 pounds or 4.5 kilograms, allowing you to mount more than one camera to the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus. But how well does the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus perform? Is it versatile enough, and do you need it in your workflow? The Zeapon Micro 2 Plus app is really the center of the user experience. Simply open up the app, turn on the slider, and you're good to go. You can even set up waypoints to ensure that your movements are the same exactly shoot after shoot. To show the versatility of the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus, I've shot 5 different scenarios. Believe it or not, but this is the very first scene I shot after setting up and testing the Micro 2 Plus. It did take me about a minute or so to frame up the shot and get everything just right. I'm using the Canon 70D to record the results so the footage won't be as sharp as when I'm shooting with a Canon EOS R5. But the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus delivered the scene. I thought a family of bears riding in a canoe with a set of dominoes would make the perfect pan. I'm controlling it manually, but I'm not happy with the speed, so after looking at the rushes, I reframed the bears and tried again. I nailed the framing on my second attempt. The pan is nice and steady, and aren't your eyes drawn to the mother bear, then to her cubs, wondering what on earth they're looking at off the right of the screen? A secret of filming is shooting multiple takes even when you think you've got the shot. For my third attempt, I punched in. I wanted to get up and personal with these family of bears, the mother, her cubs, and what could possibly be grabbing their attention off the screen. Yep, the bears could see out the window and they wanted to go out and play in the snow. It was a cold -10 Celsius with flurries, and they were intrigued by that igloo structure outside. I mean, they are bears after all. In the couch scene, I wanted to show you how the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus can deliver vertical shots when mounted on a tripod. The Micro 2 Plus can easily handle a 10-pound load, that's 4.5 kilograms, and as you can see from the scene, the motorized slider delivered the results once again. In some of the scenes, I found myself repeating the slider movements over and over, and as you can expect, I didn't always get the same results. The Micro 2 Plus allows you to set up to 6 waypoints to ensure that you get the same results every time. Setting up a waypoint is simple. Simply set up your keyframe, tap the next waypoint, move your slider to where you need it to be, and then set the speed. Then keep repeating until you get the desired results. For the couch scene, I set up 2 waypoints, one for the camera where it was at the top of the scene and the other for the bottom. I really wanted to control the speed of the camera, and one thing I learned is I recommend shooting at slow speed. This allows you to speed up and post as needed, but if you shoot at a fast speed, well, that opportunity is lost and you have to reshoot again. At the beginning of this video, I asked several questions. Well, first of all, what is a motorized slider? How well does the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus perform? Is it versatile? And is this something you should consider purchasing for your workflow or for your business? Let me start off by telling you this. I've never used a motorized slider before, and I've always been curious by them. I've seen a lot of other YouTube channels using them when they do reviews, and I've been envious. I thought, this is a product I definitely have to have, and I've put it on my wish list, but never quite gotten around to getting it. So when Zeapon reached out to me asking if I'd like to review it, I thought, wow, what a perfect opportunity to test out a motorized slider and up the quality of my videos. In terms of easy to use, and this is why I'm getting to this point that I've never used one before, when I show you at the beginning how it's easy to set up, how easy it is to use, and I told you that I'd never used it before, that I got all my B-roll shots within 45 minutes, and that includes unboxing, downloading the app, and I shot those 5 scenes, I was truly amazed with how easy it was. There's no mandatory product registration. I didn't have to download anything. The firmware was already up to date. And it was just a very, very seamless experience. So that left me on that foosball shot. That took me the longest time to get right. I probably spent about, 5 minutes. I can't remember exactly. But the toughest thing for me was I wanted 2 things out of that scene. I wanted a good zoom shot that I could show you, but I also wanted to show you how I was setting up that scene, what it looked like from my point of view as I was delivering the results. And it worked well. And then I mounted it on a tripod like this to get the pan. For the bears, I just left it on the table. But for the couch shot, that was a vertical shot. I know it wasn't a very exciting scene, but I've been trapped inside here. It is so cold outside, -10 is the high, and it wasn't even that yesterday when I was shooting at lunchtime. And because this isn't weather sealed, I didn't want to put it in an environment where I could damage it. I did want to shoot many more scenes outside. I want to shoot landscape shots with a 105mm with different lenses to show you that this isn't just for food and product for photography and videography. But I guess ease of use is really one of the biggest stories here. At this point, telling you that I think it produces really good results is kind of a no-brainer. I've shown you 5 different scenes and they all produce cinematic video that I'm really happy to be able to use. I've got a gimbal, the Crane 2S here, that I use when I'm outside doing run and gun stuff. It allows me to run and walk without producing any sort of, violent movement, a jerky movement of the camera. And when I'm doing product shots up and close, this allows me to control the scene. Doing product shots can be very, very difficult, especially when you're down around f2 or f1.6 or even f1.2. To be able to control how far away the camera lens is from the subject or the object or the food makes it a lot easier. And having waypoints, up to 6 waypoints, where I can not only control how it moves, but the speed at which it moves, makes shooting product and food shots so much easier. The amount of time I used to spend on product shots was painful. It used to take me something like sometimes an hour, because my tricks at the time were to use the gimbal, shoot at 4K 120, and then just try to get it right. And I'd have to shoot many, many times because the focus would always go off. And it was very hard to use manual focus. To use manual focus, I basically had to put it on a tripod. Not anymore, not with this. I'm very happy with how well it performs. Is it right for you? Well, do you do any food photography or videography? What about do product reviews? Because if you do, at $445 for the motor, the unit, and all the cables you need to get set up, then yes, I would say it is. The next question is, if you don't do that, do you do enough landscape photography where you would want to shoot some of these pans? That's a tougher question to ask. If you're a hobbyist, it's certainly fun to play around with, but if you don't have the use cases, it's hard to recommend to you in that case. But there's something else I also want to tell you about. They also offer up a motorized pan head, which they are going to be sending me after the Spring Festival. We're coming up to Chinese New Year, and this is a Chinese company, so basically everything in China shuts down for about 10 days, but they're going to send me the motorized pan head. And what this allows you to do, when you're doing those pan shots, like I did of the bears, it can have the camera locked onto them so the camera stays with that same view, and it still gives you that 3D look, but you're allowed to pan and tilt as well. But as far as ease of use, it delivers the results. I can't say anything negative. Well, there is one minor thing I can say. While I do give them credit for sending us a printed copy of the manual, even with my reading glasses, it's very difficult to read, and the detailed diagrams are very detailed. I highly recommend downloading an electronic copy, a PDF document of the manual, and it's going to make it a whole lot easier for you to be able to follow. But outside of that, I really didn't use the manual in any way whatsoever. I was expecting to need it, but things were so easy to set up. It's one of those products where you can just put the manual aside and start using it without any issues. The only time I actually consulted the manual when I started looking at the waypoints, and I thought, yeah, I'll download the manual later. Let's just try and use it. And as you can see from the video, I had absolutely no problems using the Zeapon Micro 2 Plus motorized slider. So final thoughts? Yeah, highly recommended. I've only had it for a couple of days, but I intend on keeping this. And if you're watching this review video and it's a month, 2 months, or even a year after I put this video out, and you have any questions, pop your questions in the comment section because I still pay attention. I continue to use these products. The review doesn't end with this review video. If I do have any problems, if this product after 2 or 3 months starts to fail or in any way operates differently than what I show you in the review, I put out another addendum. I talk about this in my other videos that I put out, my news and rumor reviews, and a behind the scenes. I'm always talking about the gear because the tough thing about doing reviews is we can always do a review that's really great at the beginning after using it for a limited amount of time. The real question is, how do they perform in the long term? And that's why you should like and subscribe. That way you can get all my updates on all these products I review as I continue to use them in the field. But thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. Please do like and subscribe. Not only does it help this channel grow, but I take it as a virtual pat on the back. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon.